How well do you know your antique tools? EJ here at the Back Porch Antiques in the tool room. We have an awesome selection of antique tools, but there's some stories behind some of these tools that I'd like to share with you today. If you know me, you know that every piece that I sell has a story. Most of the stories are true. But every piece is a memory. That's why I do what I do, because I really enjoy connecting memories with people who need them through objects that bring back a story. But today we're going to talk about tools, rare, odd, kind of specific antique tools that maybe you didn't know exactly what they were for. So let's start with an easy one. You know what this one is? Looks kind of gruesome, doesn't it? This is a cooper's side axe. A cooper was somebody who made barrels or something along those lines, and they would actually take this particular piece and strike it against bark in order to make pieces for a barrel. So, a cooper's axe. And there was a big, strong guy that made a living out of swinging that one particular piece. What about this one right here? Have any idea what that is? That is a saw vise. Way back before chainsaws, you had to actually use cross-cut saws, which are two-man saws, and you pull them back and forth to cut down a tree. This particular piece here would hold that saw so you could sharpen the teeth on it. So, pretty cool piece right there. Here's an odd one for you. If you are an animal lover, you probably won't particularly like this particular piece. This is a snout cutter, or also known as an ear marker. Now, if you will look closely at this, you will see that there is a blade in this particular set of pliers that look like a heart. Way back when, everybody had pigs and hogs on their farms, and a lot of times they'd get out. They would roam the country, and as a matter of fact, they're one of the hardest creatures to keep fenced. So everybody had a unique mark that they would mark the ears or the snouts of their particular swine. Now, this one was a heart. So sadly and painfully for the animal, you would put their ear in between this particular piece and put a heart in their ear to mark it as your particular animal. Snout cutter, hog swine identifier tool. Pretty neat particular piece. Okay, here's another pretty cool one. Another grotesque looking tool, right? Our tool guy does a good job. His name's Jack. He does a great job at restoring these tools, bringing them back to a really good luster. This particular tool here was made for roofing using slate roof tiles. You could use it to crack, you could use it to nail, you could use it to pull nails. Really pretty cool piece right here. It is a slate roofing tool. So what's the deal with this one? Why is it that color? Anybody know the answer to that? I'll bet if you're watching a tool video, you may have a chance at knowing why this is the color that it is. It is actually made out of beryllium, and beryllium is an anti-spark material. Kind of looks like brass, but it's beryllium. So if you're working in a factory where there's exposure to explosive compounds and you're working with metal tools, you don't accidentally want to cause a spark. And we find a lot of these particular tools around here because of companies like Holston Defense or Eastman, and our tool guy will polish them up and make them look real good, but their original intent was so that they wouldn't cause an explosion in an explosive environment. Interesting looking piece. Let's see if I know what it is. Well, it's a pattern cutter for a leather worker. And I don't know why a leather worker would need to make that particular pattern, but he did. You'd place that on a piece of leather and you'd hit it with a hammer and it would cut it out. It's a pattern maker for a leathersmith. Lots of cool tools here at the Back Porch Antiques. We have a good selection of bluegrass tools. We have a good selection of woodworking tools. A lot of local woodworkers will come in. We have a lot of good draw knives, chisels, things like that. Along with the swine thought, we had the ear marker. This is what is called a hog scraper. And this is what would have been used when you were making sausage to get the fat off of the hide. I don't by any means mean to be a little gruesome, but the fact of the matter is that 100 to 150 years ago, it was a different way of life. And in order to survive, you had to have specifically made tools for a specific reason. providing your own sustenance through meat was one of those reasons for tools. We sell a lot of Bluegrass tools here at the Back Porch Antiques. Bluegrass is a brand. It's a big collectorship. A lot of people like Bluegrass, so we've got a great selection of those as well. The last piece I'd like to highlight today, 10 extra points to you if you by chance know what this is. This is a barn beam hook. You ever heard of the old stories where people would raise a barn? All the neighbors would get together and they'd build each other's barns because it was such a big task that you couldn't do it by yourself. This particular piece right here, if I don't smash my fingers with it, is what you would use to raise barn beams. You'd put it on a pulley, you'd pull it with a horse, things like that. Probably just made my microphone make funny noises, but my apologies. But you'd put it right there and it would raise, see, it would raise the beams on the barn. But nonetheless, we got lots of cool toys here at the Back Porch Antiques, cool tool toys. So come see us. If nothing else, we'll talk about the different kinds of tools and things like that. That's the thing about the Back Porch Antiques. You don't have to buy anything. We can still have a good time. We'd appreciate it if you did, but not necessary. Come see us at the Back Porch Antiques.